Hello guys, and welcome to David Zimaleta. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about choosing your van for Expedite. I've been getting some questions in the comments, and I think the people that are asking these type of comments, they're expecting that I'm going to write out the whole scenario, for choosing your own van. But the truth of the matter is, there is no one option fits all type of scenario. Or like one fits all. Because everybody's situation is different. So in choosing a van, I can't say get a used one, and I cannot say go get a new one, because if you're going to be getting a new one, you're obviously going to have debt. Now, if you're somebody that already has money, that's not going to be a problem to you. If you're somebody that's struggling right now, chances are once you get a new van, you're gonna have problems, because believe me, this expediting thing, it's not as good as it sounds. It is great if you have like no bills and you don't have to be dependent on all these jobs, because you will be getting jobs. It's just they're so far and few in between, and everybody's company is different, their situation's different, their reputation's different, everything goes into play as far as like when your jobs come in. And then you got those other people that are a little bit above everybody else, that they could actually go and start bidding the loads themselves. Their situation is much different. Like most likely they could afford, to have a new van payment and stuff like that. But those type of people, like that could actually bid loads for themselves, they could also bid loads for other people. So they really don't need any kind of payments, realistically, because you could do this out of your own home, apartment, or whatever you have, and you could just basically sit there and bid loads all day, for people, if this is something that you would actually like. Now, I personally, went back and forth on this type of thing, but the way, as far as like bidding loads and stuff, what I've decided for myself for now is stick to basically what I do best, and that is actually do some mechanics and like restoring cars and stuff like that. You guys see me do that on my channel for the past 3 years. I'm gonna continue doing that, and I'm gonna take it a little bit further. It's not a topic of this video, but I will be taking it further to restoring cars, selling, and basically doing some car flipping, selling some parts as well, like that. But this video is not about me. This is just a little bit, kind of like of an insight, because I know what you're gonna say. Why aren't you bidding the loads? Why aren't you doing this or that? Especially that this is going on 13 years that I've been actually in expediting type of business, and I've really never got off to a thing to where, I'm just bidding loads for myself. This used to be one of my top priorities, like when I was like 25 years old and I started. I'm 37 now. I was kind of thinking, man, that's what I'm going to be doing, and it felt right inside. But at the same time, my situation was a lot different than today. And at that time, I didn't have any choice. Like, I didn't have any property to work on cars, and I didn't have none of those things. So I could really not do any of the things that I really wanted to do with my life, because I was stuck in that type of predicaments. So to me, bidding loads would be a lot better than, I guess, driving a van 24/7, because I could do that straight from apartment. But that still really never took off, because that was not a primary goal at the time, because I just got married and I had all these other things I needed to focus on. So it's not like something that you could just do. You have to be completely free with your mind, so that you could think and move forward. You cannot have other things in your mind. So anyways, let's now talk about choosing your own van. Guys, right now, 2019 year just hit, okay? And looking at 2018 year, it was a lot worse than 2017, at least to me. And I think 2016 wasn't too good of a year either. But I've been noticing a shift towards a lot less loads out there, and a lot more people that's trying to get into this line of business to try to actually work. So this is not a problem, and some people actually have been kind of like not happy with me in the comment section. You guys are not gonna see that, because I'm not gonna argue with those people. I'm just gonna delete their comments, and that's it. And I'm gonna call it a day, because what some of the people have been saying is like they're thinking that it's because of me all these people are coming into the industry to try to work. But here's the thing, I'm not the only one that does these type of videos, and it is not because of me that people are actually getting into it. They're getting into it for many different reasons. Like some of them, they're driving a truck, and they're maybe a little bit less healthy than it used to be. And with the trucks, you got to pass all those medical type of certifications. So when they get to the point where they really don't want to deal with that anymore and get that medical card and, you know, deal with all the regulations, and especially if they've been working as a company driver, they just want to do their own thing. They want to travel. They want to park their van where they want to. So they do that. Then you got the people that they're trying to retire, you know, and they're thinking, should I buy myself an RV, or should I, you know, buy myself like a brand new van of any kind and fix it up a little bit to where, you know, him and his wife could sleep comfortably and travel and go to every single type of RV park, and, you know, and travel to these special destinations across the country. You guys know where they're at, places that you would visit if you would have like an RV. Now that would be a pretty wise choice, because for those people that are trying to retire and actually travel across the whole country, you know, for that, I think that's wonderful, because they're making money instead of just spending money for all that fuel. Plus the vans are a lot more fuel efficient than, say, like a big huge RV, and they could get that out of the system. They could travel, they could come home, and they decide what else they're gonna do. Maybe they could stick with that. It'd be kind of like a little retirement check coming in. Because looking at these things and knowing that my dad's in the trucking type of industry, you guys seen, he recently bought himself a van, and he was never a fan of actually doing type of expediting type of work. But recently he started talking about, well, if anything happens with this trucking thing, I'm going to be getting into the expediting thing, you know. So that is a way for him to continue doing what he's doing, a little bit less responsibility, a little bit less troubles, and he could just do that for himself. Now, you also have young people getting into this thing because, you know, if you're going to go, you know, get a job or something, get like $9, $10 an hour, and you're getting a paycheck after taxes about $277 a month, a week, and about a $1,277 when all said and done, give or take, between that and $1,500 a month. Now, to make that in a single week sounds very good. So these type of people, they're also thinking, well, why should I waste my time with these jobs when I could simply buy a van and I could start doing it? And there's no problem with that. You know, if you buy something that's used, if you have the money and you can afford to buy something used, that's definitely a pretty good idea. Now, you're also gonna have people that really don't know nothing about this type of business, and, you know, and they get into it with a new van and things of that nature, and they really quickly, you know, realize that, hey, they're getting homesick, this is really not for them, they cannot they cannot stay away from their family for like more than 3 days. Believe me, I've seen it. Like, I had people come up to me and they're like, oh, I can't take this anymore, I've been away from my home for 3 days. I'm thinking, you kidding me? I've been away from my home for 3 weeks. You know, if you cannot be away from your home for minimum 3 weeks, you will not make it in this industry. So let me take this further for you guys and break it down a little bit, okay? Now, most of you will not have, of course, money to buy yourself a used van. Plus, you will kind of think that, hey, I buy myself a used van, I spend my less money, this thing's gonna start breaking down on, you know, on me, and I'm not gonna be able to fix it because I don't have the parts for it and stuff like that, and you feel that that's a risk. So what you're gonna start doing is you're gonna say, okay, let's maybe buy a brand new van. Maybe it's gonna last me a good couple years with no stress, no headaches, and you're just gonna, you know, take it that way. And that's okay to think like that, but you gotta think further and understand that you're gonna end up getting a loan between 5 and 6 years, and I've seen people get even 7 years just to get a smaller type of payment. Now, you get that, that means you're committed for the next 5 to 7 years driving this van. So this means you cannot do nothing, you cannot quit what you're doing, you'll need to continue. But with that comes a huge responsibility as well. Now, if you're gonna have this type of van, then it means you're gonna have to maintain an expediting type of insurance if this is the business that you actually was hoping to stay in and you know, profit from that. So that being said, in the next 2 years, not only that you're gonna have a van payment, you're gonna need to service it, you know, the regular type of services and things like, you know, oil changes, you know, any kind of fluid changes. You're also gonna deal with I mean, you could deal with things like that's not covered by the warranty, like let's say like a starter, alternator, belts, pulleys. They will break on you in the next couple years. This is very common in this business. It's normal, you know. And here's the thing, guys, this is the same stuff that goes wrong with my old Sprinters as well. It's these common things, like bigger stuff, like breaking an engine. Shoot, in the past 12 years, I only broken one engine, and that engine had 877,000 miles diesel. And then people ask me, why are you choosing diesel? You should be choosing an American car with gas. Guys, that's why. These things last a very long time. And if you get like an old one, T1N, even for 15 grand, because I've seen them for 15, 16, and more $1,000, because, you know, people restore them, you know, to where they're halfway decent, you know, for somebody to drive, and then they sell them for pretty good money, and then they know they could get it too, because you get that van, first of all, that's equivalent, you know, even if you get it for 15 grand, that's equivalent to, let's say, like 1 year of payments for the vehicle. I know that's still a little bit more, but still, in one single year, that van paid for itself. So basically, you get your money back, plus your insurance will be a lot less, so then you're saving money that way. Your fuel will be much less, so you're saving money that way. Guys, a typical fuel savings from, let's say, like a 3.0 liter diesel, I'm just going to compare diesels with a Mercedes, comparing it to a 5-cylinder diesel like a 2.7. Now, the fuel economy is much different. Like the 2.7 liter diesel, like I drive, on the worst day, it does 24 miles per gallon. On the best day, it does 26.5 miles per gallon. You know, and then you look at the 3.0, the best I've seen him do is 18.7 miles per gallon. And that's by me being an owner from a brand new one, without having no DEF. I did have particulate filter, and I know how to actually do the math and calculate it. It's not a big deal. I don't look at the computer what's telling me what kind of fuel economy. I mean, computers sometimes showing I'm doing 23, 24 miles per gallon. That's not the way to tell. You have to actually, when you're fueling up, knock it down, you know, like that tachometer to 0, fuel up, and then next time, you know, fuel up full tank. Next time you're fueling up, let's say like 400 miles later, take the 400 miles, stick it in your calculator, 400 miles. Let's say you fill up 20 gallons, divide 400 into 20 gallons. That's going to be your miles per gallon driven. And that's the way you're able to tell. Now, I want to cover some of these other factors. Now, keep in mind, you're going to get a brand new van. Oh yeah, hold on. I was going to say about the difference in fuel economy between these two vans. The difference is, guys, when it's really bad fuel prices, the difference was nearing $700 per month. Like, yeah, I guess now it's maybe like half that because the fuel prices are not that expensive, but still, $300, $400 fuel savings every single month, that's a big deal, because you add that up in the whole, you know, at the end of the year, and that's a pretty big deal. Now, when economy, the fuel prices were like nearly $4 and above, you could save about $700 a month by having a Sprinter like the one I have, or the 4-cylinder one, you know. And the 4-cylinders are, I don't know why they stopped selling those. I don't know why. I've heard different rumors, but I don't know why they stopped selling them. That is a really good economical van. Now, as far as reliability, I don't know, okay, because I never owned one. I have a few friends that own them, but like one of the friends that has his, he doesn't complain. Like he's got like standard type of issues, but he doesn't complain. He owns a Sensa's brand new van, and he likes it. But you know, and those vans, the 4-cylinders, they're the same fuel efficiency as the T1Ns with a 5-cylinder, but you get the benefit of having a fuel efficient Sprinter with a new body style, you know. But in a way, these old body styles, should they even have grown on me, it's like having like a Mercedes ML, you know, 350, let's say, right? Like a nice SUV, and then you get a G-Wagon, which is gonna be like, I don't know, $150,000 truck. I mean, SUV. You know, you look at that, and it's the styling. You know, like it's old school styling, and a lot of people are fans of the T1N body style, including I'm a fan now. I mean, I've been driving one for so long, and like I'm a fan because I mean it looks cute, it does what it needs to, and when I drive this thing, instead of having a payment, it pays me back. Like in savings, in fuel savings alone, it pays me back. In insurance alone, it pays me back. So that means I could drive a lot less, make a lot less than you guys, and still have more left over. Because the saying is true, it's not how much you spend, it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. That saying is could not be more true in this type of business. Let me explain. Let's say you get a new van, and I don't care what kind of van you get. This is why I'm not gonna try to like tell you what to do, which van to get, gas, diesel. You make that decision yourself, because I can't make that decision for you. You guys know I'm a Mercedes fan, but I'm a realist, okay? If this vehicle is not gonna be right for you to do business, then don't choose this type of vehicle. Now, if you do choose the T1N,